I'm back. This video is made for all the people that have asked me at least every time I go out for 20 minutes, once every 20 minutes. And the most popular question is how I do my hair, and if the hair is real, and how heavy is my hair. I'm going to show you my hair comes all the way down past my waist, and this is the bottom of my hair, as you can see now. And yes, my hair, the first question is my hair real? And yes, my hair is real, and the way it looks, because it looks so shiny and there are more, I have complete control, is because they are wrapped in silk. And I got this idea from Australia, and they do this a lot in Australia. Now, I initially dreadlocked my hair. Now, if you're going to do anything like this, you gotta remember that once you go here, you can never go back. You can't take them apart. You can't unravel them. Once you have dreadlock, as you know and everybody knows, once you have dreadlocks, that's it. You have them for life, unless you're willing to shave your head and start from scratch. So this is a commitment for life. You can't take them off. You can't unravel them. And that's right. They are for life. So, I have the front, I have cut. You can see some of them are very short because they used to be just as long as this one right here. As you can see, this right here, and this is my longest one that actually reaches past the back of my butt. And it was getting in my way. So now I have them, I cut them off short. So you can make them a stick and as long and you like. This is the beautiful thing about having dreadlocks. Now, I originally started with very small braids, and then what happened is, like you see them right here. Now, I'm going to show you how to wrap the silk and bamboo. You want to have natural fibers. If you're going to do any type of wrapping on your dreadlock, it has to be of natural fibers, because you definitely don't want to be catching fire. Okay, safety first. Now, I'm going to show you another thing about dreadlocks, and I don't know if you can see here the hairs. You can see the hairs all the way coming sticky. Now, anybody that knows that has dreadlocks, not only the dreadlock starts to stick onto the dreadlock, right? And we don't want that. We don't want to have our sweater, our sweaters, our blankets, everything and anything that we wear end up being stuck onto our hair and remaining there. The dreadlock already by itself, if you don't know, dreadlock is calcified hair that after you don't comb the individual strands of hair, they start to calcify and become one big lump. That's why I find it very funny that when I see caveman movies, they all have beautifully combed hair. Because if you had any type of long hair, as long as it gets a little bit of wind outside and it gets tangled up together, and if you don't separate them right away, you are going to pay in pain trying to separate them, especially from the scalp. Now, a lot of conditioners, a lot of shampoo help in the process of calcification of your hair. Now, the other thing about dreadlock, because it's calcifying, at the same time, you need to keep them very, very dry. And you say, well, how do I wash them? You're still going to wash them, but you're not going to soak them in for very long. You're going to wash them and you are going to dry them. Yes, not with just a normal blow dryer, but with a blow dryer that actually strips paint. And you're going to be very careful or be like me and end up burning your hair. Now, there is another, you can see another dreadlock point. As you can see, my hair are sticking out from the sides. And you can actually see literally where my yarn, and this is what you're going to buy. This is 50% silk and 50% bamboo. And we're going to talk about keeping our dreadlock because they're calcifying and putrefying when you add the water. That's why they stink. That's why you do not want to have dreadlocks that stink, because it's just an infestation of microbes. And I'm going to show you how to keep not only dry, sterile, clean, and smelling wonderful, and of course shiny. Now, most important is the yarn that you're going to use. I picked this up. It's the only place that sells it on earth that I can pick it up. Is at Michael's, and it's $6.99 per yarn ball. You're going to use the whole thing. I use it at least once a month, a whole yarn ball of this into my hair. I'm going to show you that each of this is not all one piece. Actually, is maximum about an inch of wrapping, because it's the new growth that you're going to be wrapping. Because what you already wrapped is when you started with the small braid, or when you already started it. I have done the big dreadlocks. Is for example, what happens sometimes is you try to do a braid and it's separated, but you grab some hair. Let's say I grab some hair from here, and then I grab some hair that is actually from this, and then I start wrapping and all that. Then I end up with this growing later, all three braids together. So the best thing to do is just to keep on wrapping them, then try to cut them and separate them. And that's how you end up with really thick dreadlocks, is because 2 or 3 or 4 little braids got together, or I put some together, or some of them actually grew together. So this is important to remember, that how you make your big braids is by putting extra braids together. So if you find that sometimes I have a weak one, for example, it starts to weak and it becomes very thin, for whatever reason, I have alopecia, and we're going to discuss about alopecia. Mine, being 50 years old now, I have more hair than when I was 16. And if you actually look, you will actually see some of my pictures that my hairline does not start up here. My hairline started all the way back there. So all of this is all brand new growth. That's including these. So, and including on this side too. And I keep this, always short, because I've only got really these 2 and these 3 braids to go with. So, and so forth. Now, I'm going to show you, for example, see this hair here is a perfect candidate to show you how to wrap, because we don't want, this is where we know about the length. Now, this is what to actually expect, and you asked to say, what newborn? Newborn was actually secret testing done by the Toronto Star about 20 years ago. Newborn, Rogaine, and another product, and they were testing to see how well it really worked in growing hair. And Newborn was the only one that actually did. I do believe it's still available at Life the Enthusiast, or you can definitely get it at Scargon.com. Now, see, this is, like I said, this is the expected growth that I just have. Now, if you had the newborn, like say, like I did have had alopecia, I get the odd sore on my head from eczema, psoriasis. So not only this keeps it at bay and gets rid of it, but it stimulates the hair growth to a point of having this within a month. And at the same time, very, very strong, because yes, the second question is, are they heavy? Very heavy. Now, you say, why do you put the silver? This is another reason we put the silver, is for the antibacterial properties. And again, that's when we were talking about keeping our dreadlock sanitized and clean. This will actually give us a shower throughout the day. So if we have people like myself that have very oily scalp, constantly sweat, and being menopausal, this is why the dreadlock really help in doing the little small braids, because the head is about 10 degrees cooler, and I don't want to just shave my head. Oh yes, when you get those attacks, This will actually cool my entire head after I have a sweat and wash all that sweat away from the pores. And that's what basically causes a lot of the alopecia in the women, of basically the sweat a lot on their heads and having problems of finding actually a shampoo or conditioner that actually takes those oils away. That's why you're going to hear me over and over and say to use Dawn and only Dawn to wash your hair with. Yes, because it will strip the oils away and it will not harm your scalp. Okay, that's very important. And of course, in between that, you want to use the newborn. And not only will, like I mentioned, keep your hair strong, grow, you can pull all day long, but at the same time grow at a very fast rate. Now, I'm going to show you to do that hair over there, to wrap it. So, we're going to take our trusty, this like I said, the bamboo is, again, another ingredient that you need to have in your hair, especially in the dreadlock, to keep the sanitation and the putrefaction of the hair actually under control. Okay, so you're not going to have little microbes feasting on your hair, and bamboo is going to ensure that. Now, we are going to take this much of strength, as you can length of the actual bamboo, 50% bamboo and 50% silk. You do not want any other material in that, because like I said, you're putting it on your body, you don't want to catch fire. Now, you're going to grab whatever area. I was going to grab here, the closest. So see, we have this chunk here, and we have this braid. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to take that chunk, I'm going to have this type of little loop, I'm going to wrap it around this loop here, grab as much as that new growth of hair, making sure I'm pulling it, trying to see it, here we go, pull it, so it's in there. And so once I've got that done, I wrap it until the whole thing of not only the length, but the whole chunk of hair is securely wrapped inside of that. And you're going to do another maybe 2 or 3 wraps. Now you see there's a little bit left. We want to make sure that you're going to do more than one knot, because what happens is sometimes it gets loose and then you cut off the knot. So you're going to do one knot here, then you're going to do it under, rewrap it underneath, and do another knot in the back there. And then you're going to do a secondary knot, and then again, rewrap it at the front and do the last final knot. Now, after this, you are going to cut it. You want to have a sharp pair of scissors on hand. Now, I try to say, well, when do you do this? That's the other most important question, is I do this in front of the TV. So my arms are actually getting exercise. So as you can see, this one here now is fixed, is tight. I got that hair, it's all tucked in. These ones right here. This one was a really long one, was bothering me, so I put it in the back. And so what I actually do now, I actually grab these two on the inside that I have, and sometimes I just tie them back there like that you see most of my videos, so I can actually get some things done and these hairs are not in the way. And depending on how loose and how tight I get this, I get the sides. Now, another thing that I do need to remember is, to make it again sterile and keep your hair smelling great, is to use colonial silver. And that is the same thing that I'm trying to do here with the silver, having a lot of silver trinkets. You know, a lot of them mean a lot to me, so they're in my hair. I get reminded all the time. You can see I had some natural bones. At one time, you can see some pictures that I had even my bangs done in that. And of course, all of that eventually grew. And as my braids started to grow, they were starting to calcify, and was my only other option. I did not like to see just the the dreadlock itself, because the dreadlock itself, it's a very dry, and of course it's not soft to the touch. It of course, because of the hair calcifying, and let me see if I can find one like this. All these hairs start to stick out. It doesn't look pretty, and it goes all along. So with the silk, you're not only making it all nice and silky, you're wrapping all of that hair, but at the same time, they're nice and silky and beautiful to look at, and of course, very sterile and very clean. As you got the silver, you got the bamboo, and you got the colonial silver, and then I go even one step further. And for people to know, the thieves oil of all oils. Now, the thieves oil is my favorite fragrance. You can put oil of oregano. You can put basically any essential oil that you love and smell. And you want to put it in a little mister, and then spray it along onto the hair. And you say, well, how can I make that oil into the little mister? Well, if you put a couple of drops of oil in a little bottle of spray, I don't happen to have it in one handy, but you can just spray it along, or just rub some of the drops onto your hands and just rub it into your hair. Now, another thing that you're going to have to remember, besides the fact that you're going to wash your scalp regularly with the newborn, maybe sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. I do minimum twice a day, once in the morning and once at night. And if I go jogging, well, I'm out somewhere where I'm sweating, not that I'm really jog, but anything that requires me to sweat, I make sure I use lots more. At any other time, you are going to wash your hair. You're going to wash with your scalp, with Dawn. You're going to wash with a microfiber your hair. So you don't want to get the hair too soaked at once. What you want to do is you want to take sections of it, wipe it with the microfiber first. Then you take one section and you run it underneath the water, making sure that the water runs freely clear. Then once you've done that, you squeeze that very, very well, and then you do the other section. And you make sure that you don't do it all at once, because it's way too heavy, because especially once you have this extra weight on it. And as soon as you're finished, you are going to dry all of this stuff on a counter, and you are going to use that heavy duty blow dryer. And like I said, anything else that you're going to blow dry yourself with, trust me, I've used it, it's not going to work. You have to use the melting paint blow dryer, the industrial 1500 watts, that you're the only thing that's allowed to be on for the entire house is that blow dryer. And you are going to take at least 4 to 5 hours to dry your hair. Okay? And once it's nice and dry, you are going to then spray it with the colonial silver, and then you're going to put your favorite essential oil. And that's how wonderful and beautifully you can keep your dreadlocks smelling fresh and microbe free. Now, like I said, you may want to use some conditioners, because it will dry out the silk after a washing. I sometimes have to use conditioner on a regular basis, because I just like to grab a few baby wipes and just wipe my hair down in the middle of the day. So, and give myself a whole overall. Nevertheless, it dries out the hair. So depending on how much you're outdoors, if you're out in the sun a lot, it will dry your hair. And of course, if you're cleansing it and washing it a lot. So nevertheless, use an alcohol-free gel. Now, I have found, let me see if I can just grab this one. Oh, grab this one. Okay. I had a really nice gel I really loved, and I couldn't find it anymore, and it's gone. So I found this other one, and yes, I found it at the dollar store. But the next generation. But the important thing is, the only thing is why it worked really well, it was because it's alcohol free. Now, I have had many, many other gels, and as soon as I used it, my hair dried up again. I like that this stays the whole day, and it stays nice and shiny, and it keeps my all the dreadlocks and all the little tiny hairs, like you see, I showed you at the bottom, under control. And as you can see, I haven't done it today, and still from yesterday, it's still looking great. So that's what I always recommend, to use a nice conditioner that you really trust, because it's going to absorb it all the way through to your hair too. So between the gel that you're going to leave, you want to put a good conditioner. I have not really found one that I can advise you on, because as soon as I do love it, it's gone and I can't find it. So I'm still in the search, and if I do find another one that I'm really, really happy with, I'll make sure I post it. So till then, I do believe I have answered all the questions. I do believe that this is my true hair, all the way down to the bottom, and it has taken me over 10 years. As you can see, the hairs all the way that are sticking out of my dreadlocks. Has taken me so far to grow this, is the most second popular question. Well, the hair itself was already long, and so a total of 10 years that I've been really with the braids, from having the Bo Derek look, you can actually see it on Facebook, to this look here. So it took 10 years. And the two wrapping of silk, I actually have only been wearing the silk wrapping for about 5 years, and I'm really, really happy with this, because it has cut a lot of my time than when I had just the braids before. The second most important question, is it heavy? Yes, it's extremely heavy, and especially when you wash it. So what you want to do, you want to make sure that you use newborn, and that helps, or that you have already very strong hair. And third question, yes, you cannot take it apart. I don't do this every morning. This is done once. I do maybe a maintenance every 2 weeks. Every week, depending how much of the newborn hair I use and how much hair growth I got. I mean, if I'm going sweating and a lot, then I have to maintain it every 2 weeks. If in the winter, I usually do it once a month. And yes, I use one entire yarn of ball once a month. So I have no idea how many balls I have, lost track of how many balls of yarn I have in my hair right now. Probably, I try to do some estimate. I have probably over 30 minimum so far, if not close to 50, So because sometimes was able to do it every month, and sometimes I wasn't. So I didn't really get I don't want to, an estimate is between that amount. The other most popular question is, can you ever go back? No, you can never go back. Once you do this, you can never go back. Your hair are dreadlocked for life. The only way you can go back if you shave your head. So people that ask me, oh, it would be so wonderful to see you with your hair out, don't realize that for me to do that, I would have to shave my head. So it would not be something that I would want to do. So my hair were too frizzy to be out, and I had to use too many products to keep my hair silky and straight. I'm sure I could pick up radio station and satellite station with my hair the way they were. But I really love my hair now, because the manageability is very easy. They lay and do whatever I want, however I want, just by me doing even this. If I don't want to see them in my face, I just tie them all the way back. I like to take a little ribbon so that I don't use the hair itself. I can do many different looks. Um, I can put this hair does not give me a headache. That's another popular question that I do get. The only time I used to get a lot of headaches, and when I used to get my hair in ponytails. I don't know if anybody else gets a headache putting their hair in a ponytail, but that used to be very, very painful for me. I don't like the other braids, especially the Bo Derek look that they do too, is they're really tight to the scalp. I like them straight down, just like your hair are straight down, not tight to the scalp, so that the scalp is really free to do as it pleases. And so yeah, and I can like I said, manage my hair as I like without having to worry about manageability or having a bad hair day, because they're not going to turn out frizzy like they used to do all the time and give me a really hard time. And I approximately spend it thousands of dollars a month just to trying to keep my hair, because I knew I used to go at least really good conditioners once every 2 days. I would have to go buy myself some more conditioner. So that was extremely expensive. And it was no good for my hair because it was just suffocating them. So that was another problem too, that I was getting a lot of alopecia, because a lot of those products were sticking onto the scalp, not making it allow it to breathe, and so forth and so forth. So this is a much more manageable, free way of letting the hair breathe, and of course restoring itself too. And I'm managing the dreadlock decomposition process, so that you don't have the smell of decay and you don't have the dreadlock really not being something beautiful. In this way now it's something beautiful, because you're taking all the precaution of making sure, especially with the yarn that is made of the bamboo. And I'm pretty sure most of the people know about the bamboo counters that people, kitchens that everybody's getting, right? And of course the silver, that another microbe killer, the bacteria, and a colonial silver in a spray form. I lost the spray here because, like I see, I used the last drop that I could get out of it. And of course, the newborn hair was clinically tested too, now that I remember, for micro in Australia about 15 or 16 years ago, around the same time that ad came out in the Toronto Star about killing microbes that are in a hair follicle. That's another reason a lot of people have alopecia. So this is basically, I do believe, all the answers. So thank you again for all the compliments I get for my hair, and thank you again for all the questions. And I hope that I've answered all of your questions, because sometimes it's really hard to say all of this in the middle of the street or at a market where I only have very few minutes to tell you. And I really want to share this with everybody. Alrighty then, so have a great and wonderful day.